So I'm pleased to introduce Don Karp. He's written a book and done some things in his life. He has lived experience, as all of us do, with mental health issues. And I'm just going to let him take over.
I was taking psychedelics and people asked me, is that what made you crazy? Well, indirectly I'd say. What happened with them is they opened me up to a lot of my past, my family experiences that I couldn't understand. All at once I was exposed to all these things. I started having flashbacks to these experiences without taking anything, and I thought people were poisoning me. I thought I was being followed. I was hearing voices, all these kind of things. Well, paranoia, sometimes people say, is a heightened state of awareness. There's usually some kind of kernel of truth. And being in radical politics, probably a lot of people were followed. It's not that far-fetched. But I kind of blew it really out of proportion. So one day I decided I want to get away from this. I drove my car out into DeWitt or some suburb, I don't remember where. And I thought helicopters were following me. Later I realized it was probably a power lawnmower, but I was really thinking the military were following me. So I drove my car off the road and hit a tree. And my mother brought me to a psychiatrist at Upstate Medical Center. He interviewed me for 5 minutes, said I needed to be in the hospital. And I didn't know any better. He was the authority, and I didn't hear about any alternatives. So I signed myself in. As soon as I got inside, I realized I made a huge mistake, but the door was locked, and I was stuck there for a month until they evaluated the antipsychotics. And this sort of became a repeating pattern in my life. I'd be okay for a while, then I'd have an episode and go back into the hospital. This happened 5 times over an 8-year period. I met somebody from Mexico who lived in Connecticut, part-time in Mexico. And he invited me down there. So I went and I had a few visits, and after the 3rd visit, I was crying. I didn't want to come back. I was in Boston then. It was snowing and the cold, and I liked the fiestas and the culture there. And so I decided I'm going to move there. In 2003, I moved to Mexico. And then I started collecting Social Security, and it was really great. I wrote a blog online. I wrote every few months to a list of people and my relatives and friends to tell them what my life was like and what was happening. And I got really good feedback. You're a really great writer. You should do more writing. I didn't see myself as a writer, but that's what they told me. I had this book that I was writing. I didn't know what I wanted to do with it. I just wanted to write down my experiences of all this stuff. So since 95, I guess it was like a total of 18 years I was writing this book. And in 2007, I met a woman in Mexico who was giving a presentation. She had won different national awards, highly recognized, and I told her, oh, I'm writing, and she said, well, send me the manuscript. So I sent it to her, and what she's told me is, I got so involved in your book, but I missed my yoga class. And she gave me a lot of suggestions about the writing. I was in a writing groups, and I took books out of the library, how to write a memoir, and I came up with a book. And you get something strong going on in your life, the universe cooperates. So I was kind of in the zone after this woman. I met an artist in Oaxaca when I was traveling, and he did the cover work. I met somebody on the beach who was my webmaster and told me about social media. I got very excited about the possibilities on the internet. And I had a friend do the formatting for the book, and it's self-published, and it's on Amazon.